The public officials in the United States and in Canada are using the lack of scientific studies as an excuse. They were told in Canada, in the Ledain Commission, 1972, it says, you must start doing the research. They're saying there's not studies, we'll do the studies, and then they'll have no excuse to turn us down. I've met some venture capital people. They're raising big money. This is really expensive to run these clinical trials. And by year's end, we should be running trials with AIDS patients, and we're on the road to discovering why marijuana is effective. Marijuana is not a medicine, I'm sorry. With all due respect to all my clients, all my patients, everyone I represent, it's not a medicine.
There's this notion that the government pot is no good. Do you buy that?
Not really. I mean, first of all, it's a reasonable assumption that the government of Canada would not know how to grow marijuana. The product is improving as we speak, and when I mentioned running clinical trials with the corporate sector, by law we have to use their product. And I've been working on this for 10 years, and I'm not going to let my work be undercut by running clinical trials with substandard product. I'm trying to make marijuana no different than any other product you're going to buy in a pharmacy. I want to normalize it. I want to demystify it so the 50-year-old chemotherapy patient who's deathly afraid of smoking marijuana will have an alternative.
I'm standing outside the Health Canada Office for Controlled Drugs and Substances right now, where we've been refused entry, and various phone calls to Health Canada from CBC Television for an interview have been declined.
Yeah, hi, I'm Bob. I'm running the champion joint roll of Australia. Been that for the last 8 years here at Nimmin.
The culture surrounds this herb like no other thing. It's quite magic. And Canada, come to Australia and find out. It's hard to put into words.
I suffer from nervous neurosis, and it gives me a clearer view into various aspects of life.
Oh yeah, I've been smoking all day, we've been just off our heads. We've the best lifestyle here. You look at Nimbin, take a look at all the people around.
It's got meaning to it, this festival, and I believe that's why people come from all over the world, because it's about peace. Peace for pop.
Oh, Cannabis, we stand on guard for thee.
Here we are now in tiny Fort Langley, British Columbia, where this little community has been taken over by Reefer Madness, the set of a new TV movie based on the original 1936 film Reefer Madness, although this one might be a little more intentionally ironic.
We're satirizing the original 1936 film, which was, became a joke. The irony is people actually started smoking pot and watching this movie because it was such a laugh. But the movie just, it epitomizes how people will believe whatever they see. They take one puff of the weed and it looks as if they're on crack cocaine, heroin, methamphetamines all wrapped up into one. And that's not the case. I mean, we all know you basically fall asleep or get the munchies is the most dangerous it can get from it.
Are you shooting Reefer Madness in Canada because we're a nation of stoners?
Well, I'm very excited about this thing called BC Bud that I hear about.
The snowbird sings a song she always sings. You know, I love that's it. Now you'd see that's now you're going back to the pot anthems of your youth.
I was so stoned. I loved Anne Murray. I used to have a photo picture of her in my wallet.
Did you?
Yeah.
You walked around with a picture of Anne Murray.
That's right, and a condom and a joint.
I know that you co-authored the musical. Now the TV movie. Why Reefer Madness?
We thought it would be funny to write a show about singing, dancing potheads. But then we found out that there was a lot of politics behind it, and it sort of turned into rap.
You know, we didn't write the play to kind of like, hey, legalize it. We really wrote the play to make a larger point about propaganda and misinformation, and just marijuana was a really convenient, example of that was kind of fun.
I'm not
that much of an activist, but I just hate this situation in the States so much with this particular administration just being so tight-assed and idiotic and arrogant and bullying, that this is something that is interesting to me. This is kind of sticking a finger in the eye of authority just a little bit.
Well, marijuana is a lot of fun for a lot of people in this country, but there obviously are some deeper cultural and political issues at play. Think about it. If you really ultimately wanted to resolve this whole political discrepancy, either 2.3 million regular Canadian pot smokers would need to stop, or the laws need to be changed. One thing's for sure, whether you're for legalization or decriminalization or criminalization, marijuana is your weed of choice. And in case you're wondering, it is still illegal in this country. I'm Chretien Gomeshi. Don't bogart that joint.
Cannabis, our homegrown native plant,
the true favorite plant
of Stoner's native land, with growing up still on the rise from West Van to Langley, from sand to make from cannabis $1 million tax-free. Cops seize the plants
occasionally,
but cannabis
sells internationally.
Oh, cannabis,
the cash crop.
My nickname is the token black guy because I'm always token on something.
Hello everyone, I'm Suhanna Marchand in Toronto. The dope dilemma. For decades, it has been the debate that can't be resolved. Should pot be legal? We continue our program, Play Goes to Pot, with your chance to weigh in. The question, is it time to legalize marijuana? Call us with your opinion. We're at 1-800-481-NEWS. That's 1-800-481-6397. Or maybe you're online. Send us an email to play@cbc.ca. Joining me for this next hour, live from Winnipeg, Chretien Gomeshi. You have left me. What is up in Winnipeg?
My only regret being here is not being next to you. It's heartbreaking. I'm always happy, first of all, I'm always happy to be in Winnipeg, one of my favorite cities, friendly city, disproportionately cultural given the size of the city. But I'm actually here at the grand reopening of Custom Culture, which is, as you see, the culture behind me, is cannabis culture and pop culture shop that is one of the largest in Western Canada. And we thought it would be a good place for me to come from, if you know what I mean.
It is certainly colorful, Chretien.
Thank you. And so are you, Suhanna.
Hey, you know what? Before we get to our callers, let's give you some information. How many Canadians like a puff of pot? We've got some facts throughout the program for you. Studies show that about a quarter of us have tried cannabis. 325,000 Canadians use marijuana every day. And on a larger scale, here's something, a United Nations study shows about 147 million people worldwide use marijuana. And you know what? It seems we're pretty liberal when it comes to pot use. Here's something else. Nearly half, 47% of Canadians say marijuana should be legalized. 70% of Canadians approve of decriminalization. We'll talk about those differences. And 92% of us approve of marijuana being used for medical purposes. Well, legalizing pot, even decriminalizing it, hasn't been much of an issue in this federal election. But you know what? It is something politicians have been talking about for decades. In fact, it came up in the 1979 election debate. Here's what a couple of the leaders had to say.
We've taken the position that it should be decriminalized, but that's it. We are not, speaking for myself, I'm not in favor of encouraging the use of marijuana, just frankly as I'm not in favor of encouraging the use of alcohol or smoking.
I agree with Mr. Broadbent on this. The principles are the same, and I agree with Ed's assessment of do we agree. We attempted, Mr. Arond attempted even in this last session of Parliament, to see if we could get it passed in 1 or 2 days, and the creditors said no.
Different faces this time around, Gian, but you know what? It could be deja vu. 25 years later,